Thank you for joining us today. We'll be waiting 1 or 2 minutes more, and then we'll start with this webinar.
Good evening, everyone. Could any of you please confirm if you can hear? Okay, perfect. Sharendra has mentioned. Shardendu, we hope we are audible and visible. Could you confirm that in the chat? Or anyone can do that.
Yes.
And also, I think if you can keep the messages to everyone, that'll be much easier. Instead of hosts and panelists, that'll be wonderful. So everyone can read your questions and replies.
This is going to be a very exciting webinar. So we'll just wait for 1 or 2 minutes more, and we'll get it started. Thank you so much for joining. We all know that this is a weekday, evening 7. Must have been difficult for you after your school, college, whatever. And you all are very busy with your admission process, application process. But we promise that this is going to be a very, very informative session for all of you. Great. Good evening. Those of you who have already joined, you can put in your grade, what kind of programs you are looking at, what applications you are looking at, just to understand what the audience is. Yeah, somebody pointed out today was a holiday. Yes. Which grade, which school, which city. You can put your information here. Thank you, Avni, for sharing that. So we'll begin at 7:05, 1 or 2 minutes more. People are joining. Yes, you can keep putting your questions in the chat box. We will be very happy to address all of those. Towards the end of the session, we'll take up. The session already has answers to a lot of your queries. So just stay tuned. Towards the end, we'll pick up the questions that we have left.
Also, if you could please address all the mentions and questions to everyone, not only host and panelists, that'd be wonderful. You can click on that and change the settings. It's not difficult. Ms. Shweta, we will try and address a question. And you can drop us an email after as well if you want to connect for the same. Happy to discuss that with you. I'm going to put my email ID down for you.
Yes, so we have already put our numbers, our email IDs. Thank you, Abhishek. There is a link also posted here. You can put your queries there as well. Our team will get in touch with you. So, shall we start, Abhishek? Yash? Great. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is going to be an exciting webinar. And like I said, evening time, be relaxed, stay tuned, and we'll be able to answer and cover a lot in this 1 hour session. We are all very thrilled to have you here, especially those of you who are exploring options and planning your future in the world of technology and engineering. We all know computer science today is so much more than just learning to code. From artificial intelligence, machine learning, to data science, robotics, and beyond, the field is exploding with opportunities that didn't even exist a few years ago. Our goal with today's session is to help you understand what lies beyond the traditional coding careers and learn how artificial intelligence and emerging technology are reshaping the future of technology itself. We hope you get actionable tips on how to start your journey in these exciting fields. We are joined today by two brilliant speakers who bring real world experience and insights into technology, education, and careers. Our first speaker is Mr. Yash Dandavate. Yash is a 3 times entrepreneur who has raised close to $1 million from top investors to build his AI startup, Fast HR, which helped 150 plus companies to hire top tech talent using AI. He is a graduate from the prestigious London Business School and IIM Calcutta. Currently, Yash is the head of partnerships and strategy at the Scalar School of Technology. A very warm welcome to you, Yash. Thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you for having me here. I'm looking forward to interact with Abhishek and all the students.
Great. Thank you so much. Our second speaker, Mr. Abhishek Gulati, AVP Global Education and Strategy at Mindler. Abhishek is a growth strategist and leads the global education vertical at Mindler and mentors students to help actualize their dreams of an Ivy League education. He is an alumnus of University College London with exchange credentials at the London School of Economics and HEC Paris. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us. I'm sure this is going to be an exciting interaction.
Thank you so much, Anandita. I'm already looking forward to the same. Thank you.
Great. I'm Anandita, Senior Career Coach at Mindler. I'll be your moderator. So sit back, stay curious, and feel free to drop your questions in the chat. The pattern here is we'll be picking up certain questions. I'll be asking the speakers. We'll be picking up questions from the chat, and we'll try to cover the entire landscape here. When we think of computer science, most people imagine coding all day. Now, 10 years ago, most computer science students aimed for software engineering roles. Today, with AI leading the charge, the picture looks very different. My first question to you, Yash, can you share how AI has redefined the kinds of roles and opportunities available open to computer science students?
I think a very fair question, right? And the kind of future we are seeing right now with AI, machine learning, at Scalar School of Technology, we are a very new age college. We call ourselves the Ivy League of India for tech education. And we are based in Bangalore, the Silicon Valley of India. And here at our innovation lab, we spend a lot of time researching and understanding about how technology is evolving. Our head of innovation lab is Mr. Martin Rendell. He graduated from Harvard, went to MIT, came back, is now leading the Southeast Asia's largest innovation lab at our campus. And what we essentially see is today, coding is essentially about computational thinking and writing commands, right? It's fundamentally a derivative of mathematics. But in future, coding is essentially going to become as simple as writing in English, in natural language, right? You could literally give a prompt to ChatGPT today and it could write basic code. There are much further advanced tools coming as maybe, I don't know if you have heard about it. It's called Lovable. Have you heard about something called Lovable? Lovable, you could literally write like a simple prompt, like, hey, build this app for me, and it could write an entire directory of code for you, right? And that's just the beginning, right? We're sitting in 2025, GPT 4.5, new models are recently out here. It's a race. where your Googles, Microsofts of the world are competing. So we are here to understand, learn about what's going to happen. The roles are definitely going to evolve. Software engineering is not going to be about writing code, but the way we also approach software engineering, right, is essentially how it is approached in an engineering college in India. Let's understand that, right? You go, there are some theoretical books, you try to mug up the entire command base. So you say that, okay, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. I will try to mug up all the formulas and commands in a coding language, and that then I will just write in my exam paper. I'll write down the coding language in our exam paper, right? But at Scalar School of Technology, we have just one program, which is like a 4-year undergraduate program in computer science, and it's a residential program what we run. And here we have a very different approach, right? Like essentially, computer science or building things is not just about writing code. It's about understanding what to write, right? How to think the backend logic behind building something at such a scale. Like think, imagine building an app used by 1,000 users versus an app used by 10 million people. The entire design of that app, the backend, the things which you don't see in the front, right, are so different. And that's where essentially our outlook is that you learn by building things, right? It's the time is gone where you go and you simply, you literally have to mug up, write few lines of code. Then essentially you forget after 3 days of not practicing. It's no longer that, right? It is now about trying to understand how things work behind the scene, right? How things are built, wiring your mind, right? Wiring your mind in a certain way where technology evolve, like where essentially you are thinking technology rather than applying technology. And that is fundamentally how we see technology to be like, and that is what we see the direction to be. The roles are not going to be the same. You will not be expected to write code, but you need to be able to think what code to write, right? And how to solve large scale technical problems, like for example Uber, right? How do I match millions of riders with millions of cars every day at right time, right? How do I solve for drop offs, cancellations? So I think this is how we focus on computational thinking than just writing code. That's the evolution we see.
True. Uh, Absolutely. Coding is just the beginning, and the real impact happens when you solve real life problems. Abhishek, your views on that?
No, I think Yash has covered pretty much it. I'll just take a very broader perspective on this, right? From a career point of view. Let's go back to 2008. We couldn't have imagined sitting here talking about half the careers we speak about. Fast forward to next 5 years, we can't speak of the same careers, right? When I'm walking into college today and I keep blabbering about this all day, AI is going to come in, but AI is also going to get old in the next 5 years as well. We have something better in the mix. Let's look at the AI journey also the last 2 years. I mean, ChatGPT became the biggest thing. Now, ChatGPT is possibly one of the most outdated AI tools out there. I can say this why because we have XAI, we have Mistral, we have Grok, we have DeepSeek, which is a similarity. Now, every day that's happening. But what is important is I'm going to borrow what Yash was talking about, that coding is just the way to be. How we do storytelling with words, we do storytelling with coding as well. No? If I have to build an app from scratch today, I'm not a tech person, I say that. But today, I'm able to build an app with 2 lines of prompt, very well to the right port platform. One of the tools I can give you an example of, I love cloud projects more than anything in my life right now. Right? So much I'm personally able to build without being a tech person, and all these brilliant students I'll do that. Thank you so much, Ms. Vandana. No problem at all. The idea is to identify problems and try and solve for them. And computer science has always been a solution-driven career. Whatever branch I get into, be it a computer science, computer engineering, or a specialization, whatever that might be, right? We have brilliant universities coming out of the Indian ecosystem. We have one example right here with Scalar. And I think that is also going to ensure that the talent that's coming out of the country is actually building for bigger problems and solving for them. So good times to get into careers. It's going to be a fun generation. And these guys are already way smarter than any of us in the call. So yes.
Yes, absolutely. Abhishek, you have mentored so many students who have made it to their dream universities around the world. Now, from what you have seen, how much of a role does exposure to coding, programming, they play in strengthening their college applications, both at undergrad and post-graduation level?
Brilliant. I'll break this down as a question for people who are actually working towards computer science and allied careers and who are not. Right now, if I'm a person who's looking at pure technology as my core domain, it anyways adds value to show that, listen, I have been looking towards the domain. very fine line between interest and passion, on Nandita. I'm
Hmm.
saying I'm interested, but I'm working towards this domain. Coding becomes a very easy option. In fact, to test waters, and you and I talk about this to kids every single day that, okay, are you learning something? Are you trying a new code? Are you trying to build something? I was talking to this brilliant young boy from Hyderabad this morning who said, I want to solve the environment problem. I want to see, can I build that in a game to see how people will fix it? And then see what large scale solution is. How brilliant that thought is for a ninth or 10th grader today.
Right.
I couldn't have imagined this, right? So it's always adding value to showcase its interest. Now, somebody who's not coming from a tech domain, let's say I'm a business student, is coding important? I feel understanding is very important because down the line, I have to work with a tech company. I'll tell you a very short snippet. A few years ago, I got the privilege to meet a person who leads Apple watches at, of course, Apple. And I asked him, you're an engineer who did business. How do you fit in? He's like, I understand product. I know how this works. I can sell it because I know the functionality of it. Now that's beautiful. I can be a political science student who understands how technology works, basic coding works, and that knowledge is always going to add value. So I'm not at all saying it's mandatory, but basic knowledge of how products work, because that's the world we live in, is always going to be helpful. I don't see a downside to it.
Actually, that's very, very informative. Yash, students in school, they start building real world tech projects or get exposure to AI applications early on. Your students, we know that they have been participating in amazing projects, amazing internships. Can you throw some light on that? How
So
it
I
is?
think I will definitely, and I have an interesting question on chat also, which I just see. The question is like, is it waste that I've learned coding now, and what do I do now? I've already learned coding. So maybe I'll give you some background, right? Like I come from business schools, like again, a commerce background, non-tech background, built an AI company of my own, had like a bunch of like 50 engineers working with me, all from best colleges across the country, world. Right. And what I recently started learning how to code, by the way. Like I don't have to, but very recently, like it's been 2 months, I'm learning SQL. What I realized is any new language or anything technical which I pick up right now or I start reading, right, I'm able to grasp it much faster, right? It's simply because my mathematical muscle has started evolving. So what when you write code, right, or when you learn how to code, right, you are essentially training your mind for a better computational thinking, faster grasping of numbers, data, right? You are able to process complex information with ease, much faster, significantly. At least that's what I see for myself. So definitely there is no skill which is wasted. Number one. Number two, talking about projects. So like I mentioned, right, like a lot of our students at Scalar School of Technology build things, right? We don't have a philosophy of writing. So when I talk to our students on the first day, right, I tell them they all carry a nice notebook in their hand and they're in the class to make notes. I tell them this one book you're probably not going to fill in the next 4 years because you're going to build things, right? So maybe if I can quickly just go on our website and show you something interesting,
Sure,
you
sure.
might
That would
just
be
get
great.
you might just get a decent grasp of what we do at Scalar School of Technology, because I'll just show you maybe the what we teach, or like you could get some idea. Like this is our website, by the way, Scalar School of Technology. So if you look at our website, like in the first year, and I'll zoom in for all you folks, right? So it's more easy and intuitive. If you can see this very clearly, right? Like from the first year, like this is the first, so it's a 4 year undergrad program we talk about, right? Like first 2 years are foundation, third year is specialization, fourth year is industry immersion. So if you see, this is the curriculum, by the way. Can you imagine? You are building games, you are building image editor apps, you are building your personal websites, you are building social media apps. So nowhere in our entire curriculum you will find, okay, I'm going to teach you like a subject list, or like there is going to be like a theory. Every year, your entire year is about building things. So by the time you graduate or forget graduation, you reach the third year of specialization, you already have some 40, 50 exciting tech apps which you have built of your own, right? And that's what gives you builder mindset, because it's not just about mugging up code and dumping it on a text file, right? It's essentially seeing how it runs, how users are engaging with your apps, right? What's the feedback you are getting, right? And that's how you build like a product mindset, a builder's mindset, which will take you long way. I have a question for everyone here, right? And when I'm talking about this, what differentiates an AI and a human in a professional environment? Can I have answers on chat? If AI ChatGPT can answer all your questions, probably the questions probably which you cannot, how are you better? What makes humans better than AI? Not accuracy. AI will do better calculations with more accuracy much faster. Humans are emotional, but AI is becoming emotional now. I can see a lot of interesting answers. Think of unforeseen future, AI can make predictions. Amisha, very beautiful answer. Creativity, right? Writing code might be, you might think it's a lot about mathematics and data, right? It's not. Thinking about app, like fake news detection. Imagine thinking of a problem that there is a lot of fake news out there and building an app to solve for that. That's what our students do. That's a part of our curriculum in third year where you can specialize in software development, AI, machine learning, blockchain, cybersecurity, or high frequency trading, right? And after third year, we tell our students, listen, you've built enough projects. Now it's time to test your skill set in the real market. So we send them across for internships. We send them for company sponsored students. Our students, second year students right now are working with Apple in Bali, going for internships in Germany, working with Zomato, getting paid 1,122 lakh rupees a month right now. This is second year students are doing these things, right? And most of them are right now working with large companies. So they built around 20, 30 projects in the first year. Now by the time they're in second, third year, they're already out there building things, working with organizations. And fundamentally what happens is when you start building small apps, right? When you start building small apps, it gives you confidence. So first day you can't build a WhatsApp clone. First day you will just build like a tic-tac-toe for that matter, or a snake game, right? That will give you confidence of let me build something more complex. Let me build something more advanced. And as you get that confidence incrementally, as you get better, then eventually you will be like, okay, now I think I'm confident enough to go and work for a company and build their apps, right? Usually that confidence, people who graduate probably comes at the age of 23, 24 when they're still freshers. Our students gain that confidence at the age of 19. And that's how early they enter the industry to work on relevant folks. I think it's also a lot to do with the kind of ecosystem and faculties. For example, our faculties are not academic researchers or PhDs, by the way, Abhishek. All our faculties have a mandate that they have to be from Google, Microsoft, Amazon. So every faculty comes as an industry leader. So they also only focus on very practical things. They're like, boss, I'm not going to teach you like some 100 pages of theory. You don't need to know the definition of computer vision. You really need to know how it works and its practical applications, right? And that is purely how the philosophy of Scalar School of Technology works, right? Like being from London Business School, our founders, by the way, Mr. Anshuman Singh, who's the dean of Scalar School of Technology, he was Mark Zuckerberg's right hand man. So he built Facebook Messenger. So dean of SST built Facebook Messenger, right? And then when he came to India, he was like, I'm not able to hire people because they are very book smart, but they can't really apply their logic and build things. And that's where we started Scalar School of Technology. So that's why we call it the Ivy League of India, because the entire DNA of what an Ivy League is, right? Practical, industry-oriented education. That's essentially what we are trying to implement in India, right? So yeah, that's probably my outlook on what we have been doing at Scalar with students, what students have been building. Our contribution maybe 10, 20%, 80% is them. So kudos to their hard work, I would say.
No, but I'll quickly add to this one, Andita. I think what Yash said is so relevant. Focusing on industry-driven skills, the value add, because every day when you talk to recruiters, the only problem is imagine a country like ours that's supplying 30% of talent to the world at the biggest companies possible. I was working with somebody for preparing for NVIDIA for an interview, and I'm like, listen, 20% of the hires that are going anywhere are coming. But the problem is we don't have the ecosystem. So we need the exact kind of education Yash is talking about as well, because A is direct, B, it doesn't waste your time. It's also getting efficient. So we need that. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, tech landscape is changing. My education system also needs to evolve. And Scalar is actually getting a lot of attention for their industry-focused approach. That's true. Abhishek, coming to the next question, a lot of students get worried about AI is coming. What will happen to my job? AI is transforming the future of work. What does it actually mean?
You have heard this answer from me so many times. I'm going to repeat this.
That's why I am putting this question, because I know student and our audience, they have already posted this kind of question when they were registering. So I wanted to pick it up.
No, absolutely. I feel I have a very strong opinion about this because conversations is all I keep hearing about and run into great founders who are building. The only point is you can take a call, right? Either you want to be part of this revolution and be the one who's replacing people, or be the one getting replaced. It's as simple as this. Irrespective of your profession today, you need to learn. I say this again, like Yash, I'm not a tech person again by default, but we have to exist and embrace technology. We all did, right? So the idea is if today I'm not another learning 100 AI apps or the tools coming in to get my job done effectively and efficiently and get productive results, I'm sorry, a 16-year-old who's better equipped with tech is going to replace me. Second, if I have experience and I can come in and learn these tools, I can run faster than anybody because I have experience at my side. And I say this again, somebody with 25 years of experience in industry, look at people in our space. We have a Parikshit sir, Shilpa ma'am, who are learning AI tools every single day. Now
True,
imagine
true.
using that experience with AI tools, it's faster. Another example will be, I'm not sure how many of the students here have tried Orion AI we've built, right? Which is an inbuilt tool. Now that's basically based on the knowledge the team has, right? Over the years, and we're training a model. So I feel we have to embrace that. Your background doesn't matter. Today, I read an article by Kruthrim and they were hiring and they said no degrees required, no resume is required. You have the skills, come and work for us. Controversial, but I feel more logical because if you have the tools, you can. So I feel if you want to get ahead in whatever career that is, you want to be a lawyer, doctor, engineer, architect, whoever you are, you need to learn and embrace technology. That's as simple as it gets.
Yeah, that's very, very insightful. Yash, anything you would like to add on this?
I
AI
think
taking
very
up my
interesting,
job,
right? So,
what will happen?
like I mentioned, right, my previous company, we help like 150 tech companies hire talent, right? Like, and I think one very interesting insight is like, I think, like, for example, like how many of you probably might know how Google hires, right? Like, Google doesn't care a damn about your degrees. They don't care how many, they simply care, okay, do you have a Git portfolio, GitHub, right? Like, GitHub, essentially, all those who go for engineering, GitHub is going to become your bread and butter in future, right? Like, it's
Yes.
where it's something we call proof of work, right? Okay, rather than writing and telling me what you do, show me. That's fundamentally how organizations look at things, right? Okay, if you say you have built things, show me if you can build things, right? And that's why our curriculum works well because we literally have apps built out for students, right? Students have built things rather than telling the okay, I know Python versus I've built an AI app on Python, and this is the app. Here you can use it and try, see how efficient the code is, right? So I think that has changed. So Google will have 6 rounds of interviews, 7 rounds, depending on what roles you're looking at. And every round will just test you on data structures and algorithms, right? You'll probably have that. So if you don't really have any degree, you have never been to school, college, and there are enough people who have made it there. As long as you are great at data structure algorithms, you'll make it to Google. So everything is now moving towards becoming skill first.
Right. Uh, Today, students are not only just choosing between, computer science and electronics, they are also hearing about those buzzwords, machine learning, blockchain, deep data, big data. They are they normally feel lost. So we have a
Yep.
lot of students here from grade 12. They are planning to do engineering. They are planning to go into the science domain, STEM domain, and picking up branches of engineering. What advice would you give to students who are now trying to choose a specialization in engineering?
I think it's a very strong, very opinionated advice which I have here right now. Today, based on our research, yearly 16 lakh students graduate as engineers in India. Only 16% of them get a job. Okay. 80% of whom get a job, they are in the domain of computer science and allied domains like be it data analytics, be it data science, machine learning, AI, computer science. These are the broad spectrums. 80% jobs exist in these spectrums today. Less than 2% of total engineering graduates make more than 8 lakh annual income, right? Like, and these are some published data which we also were evaluating to understand how we can make our students more industry ready, right? So the opportunities are there, but what you need to understand is computer science AI is no longer a branch, right? Earlier, what used to happen, you had mechanical, civil, chemical, computer science as different branches. Today, AI is becoming a standalone institutionalized program or a entire, how would I describe it? Like AI and computer science are becoming a whole under which there are several branches which are coming in, which is one is AI, machine learning, you
Right.
have cyber security, you have blockchain, you have probably uh, multiple other like sub branches like deep learning and a lot of things will come in, right? Definitely. There is a hardware software interaction which comes in like human computer interaction. A lot of things are coming in.
Hmm.
So don't see computer science as a branch, think of it at computer science as a whole, and then there are sub branches, and then look at like which sub branch I want to go into, whether I want to become an ML engineer and focus on NLP and deep learning, or whether I want to become like a web developer and like build apps and websites, right? Where is the wedge and where is my area of interest? That's what I tell students, at least, like, because again, might come from my bias of being an AI founder and head of a technology oriented school, but this is where we see data. We work with 1,200 employers at Scalar School of Technology. Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they all come on our campus for recruiting students. We are sort of at the forefront of understanding where the careers are shifting in the world of technology. And this is what we see. All jobs are moving towards computer science, but not your general computer science roles like a web development. They're moving much deeper, right? So a specialization is very important. That's why when we think about specialization, usually what happens, you do a 4-year BTech and then you go for 2 years of MS or MTech for a specialization. But we thought that we really need to integrate a specialization in the 3rd year of our program so that students are really able to get that mastery on that one specific skill, that wedge skill, which we call, right, where they can actually make their own path into the industry. A generalist in tech is not as valued as a specialist today.
Yes. So, Abhishek, we also handle so many students, and at the very beginning of grade 11, they come and ask, what specialization should I pick up? Right? What advice do you give to those students, Abhishek?
With most of it, what Yash said, the two paths to this, look at two approaches. I'll give you two examples. Look at a top-down and a bottom-up approach here, and both work very well depending on who you are. Let's say I'm a class 10 student, very clueless, and I have realized engineering is my calling, not being forced, genuinely wanted. But it's very difficult for me to assume 7 years later what domains will work. But what you can do is, while you're in college, preparing for entrances, be it in India, preparing for universities abroad, irrespective, what you need to keep in mind is that what skill am I good at? Like computer science is a skill for me. It's never a domain because that skill will help me in different places. With this, I could do multiple things, but based on what's growing, I might look at these 3, 4 branches. That way you continue building, figuring out works. A more certain branch I feel today, considering so many uncertainties globally and the political disturbance, etc., and we can go on about that, is, let's say, I know space, AI, defense, energy, EVs are growing. I want to see that what degree or what branches will continue to persist across, because I always say this, careers are not future proof, industries are, right? I know healthcare will always survive despite whatever is happening in the world, but I can work in healthcare irrespective of our degrees. Yeah. So I have to understand that, oh, I want to be in this industry. Whatever degrees can work, I can specialize there early on. You have to see which, in fact, I wrote about this just early today, right? On LinkedIn, that you don't have to force fit, find the right fit for you. It can take time, or you reverse it. Also, you can only be 70% certain, if I can give it a percentage. Leave that little wiggle room for you to explore. Space tourism was not a career. I'm working with this girl right now. You know that on space tourism, I think she's looking at. I would have laughed about this 10 years ago, right? So we are building careers from scratch. I feel specialization is very important because otherwise, look at the number of computer science grads. Yash has given a number that's tier 1, 2, 3. God bless us. So I don't think a very generalist approach can work well, but identify the one that works better for you.
Yeah, just repeat that line. Careers are not future-proof, industries are. So
I think
I think students should take that as a very good takeaway from
that's
here.
the only lesson. That's the only lesson we have learned from this decade so far. Like,
yes, that's true for all of us, I think. Um, you know, lot of students, they are coming with a query that they consider AI to be a tech domain, basically a science domain or a technical domain. But in today's interdisciplinary world, can students from other backgrounds like commerce, humanities, can they also enter this space?
So I think a very interesting question, right? And you won't believe, at Scalar School of Technology, if you're from a commerce background, if you're from a humanities background, you still can apply for our institution's undergraduate program in computer science and AI, as long as you have mathematics in your 12th standard,
Okay.
right? So we are very clear, right, boss? As long as you have mathematics, because again, without having a strong mathematical foundation, you can't really comprehend a lot of concepts, because again, like, even I'm learning math right now. For example, I am learning a lot of 12th grade math at this point, just so that it builds my mental muscle to comprehend complex concepts and evolutions, what happen in AI space, right, every day, right? So for example, because AI is a combination of physics, It has a lot of mathematics. It has a lot of computational thinking, critical thinking, and creativity as well, right? So we are very so AI fundamentally as a field should be. So we are probably the only college in India which allows commerce and humanities folks who have mathematics as a subject in 12th grades to apply for AI and computer science program in undergrad. And we believe that mathematics is a key foundation to AI. Everything else is very beneficial. Yes, if you have a biology background, we absolutely love that. There is a very strong AI use case in biology spectrum, like everything from like gene counting to protein synthesis to
Right.
enzyme mapping. A lot of things are happening in biology space. There are a lot of things happening in finance for AI, right? Like you are looking at your CA firms getting replaced in a very long term. We are seeing a lot of AI tools coming in who are doing your audits, doing your financial accounting for organizations. And again, every industry, AI is becoming a layer in every industry. So earlier, what happens is like Abhishek mentioned, like industries are resilient, right? AI is penetrating every industry today. Like health, there is AI in healthcare, there is AI in manufacturing, there is AI in tourism, right? There is AI in finance, like payments, like your UPI, right? There is a AI implementation and use case for UPI too. So a lot of things are happening right now. So essentially, the way I would look at foolproofing my career would be going deeper in, and that's what I'm doing right now at the side, right? Like I'm learning. Probably I'll get better because I'm trying to foolproof my career. So that's a fair approach.
So, yes, absolutely very helpful for the audience here as well. Mathematics could be a crucial tool. Apart from that, there is no science, humanities, commerce, these kind of fixed eligibility. Anybody from any domain can apply to Scalar,
Correct,
right?
correct. As long as you have mathematics. Mathematics is also so that you can cope up with the complexity. That's all.
Right. Here I would also like you to little bit elaborate on the, the teachings and the kind of program Scalar has, so that our audience can also get a,
I
fair
think
idea about.
fair. Happy to do that, right? Like, and maybe if I can again, what I really prefer is
Yeah, that
going
would be great.
through website because uh, everything is publicly available for people to visit, understand, explore on their own. So we usually prefer that such questions come, students see the website, read, do their own independent research. I think curiosity is very important. So just to give you context, right? Like Scalar, we call ourselves the Ivy League for computer science education in India. Our alumni work in some of the best companies. I'm 100% sure all of you have heard like at least 70-80% of these companies you see here, right? And even government officials, endorsers. So these are the kind of people you learn from. When I mentioned to Abhishek that, our faculties come from Google, Microsoft, Amazon. So these are the kind of people you actually learn from in our college. Like you would have like MD of T15X, MD of Google coming in. These are the kind of folks who design our curriculum and are very closely associated with us on literally semester by semester designing our curriculum. So that's the kind of way we mold our curriculum. And that's why we call our curriculum future proof because it's built by people who are shaping the India story of tech today, right? All the biggest names in the tech ecosystem. Like I mentioned, the first 2 years are learning, third year is about specialization, and fourth year is about industry immersion, going out there, putting yourself out there. We spoke about the curriculum, and I think what's very interesting is understanding what the faculty is, right? Like maybe if I can just spend, I told you about internships. So a lot of our
Yeah,
students go
very
spend
interesting.
do internships. There are like exciting faculties who are building things. So this is the kind of faculty, and I really want you all to do one thing. Go on our website, reach out to our faculties on LinkedIn. Their LinkedIn profiles are listed here for a reason so that you can approach them and talk to them. I'm not sure they will be able to give as much time as you would require, but this is a way. So all faculties come from Microsoft, MasterCard, Amazon, Facebook, Google, Snapdeal, right? Like you won't find a single faculty who does not have great credentials to back. And why? Because like I know I'm not sure how many of you have heard about how medical students learn. In medical college, students learn from doctors, right? Senior doctors, and that's how they become doctors, right? Same way in tech, we want to build an institution where student future tech leaders learn from current tech leaders, so that you not just draw inspiration, you learn all the practical skills and relevant insights from them, and you grasp. That's fundamentally how our institution has been built.
Right. A lot of people have put in queries related to the curriculum and all. We'll advise that you go to the website and find all the information there. Abhishek, for you, one interesting question is, we are talking about technical skills, we are talking about curriculums and what the 4 years looks like. I want you to little bit elaborate for our students, what are the non-technical skills,
Hmm.
other soft skills required to survive in this emerging technology?
I've fortunately been able to work with a lot of IIT graduates the last few years, and the common concern I see is smart here doesn't translate to the tongue, it becomes a problem. You're right. I can be brilliant, but it comes down to that. No, I think I can be the smartest individual in the room, but I'm not able to connect, network, or present my idea. Yash initially mentioned about raising funds. One of my common conversations with VCs and angel investors is, oh, we have talent. We are not sure what they're trying to explain. That becomes a major problem, right?
Hmm.
Just the other day, I was talking to one of them, and he said that I met a great founder, good pedigree, good institutes, but so it comes down to communication for me always, right? And I think second bit, I feel and I've realized the ability to not only present to one person, but to also understand consumer behavior. I think psychology is such an underrated skill for a tech person, right? Understanding, because I'm building a product for people end of the day. You look at
Hmm.
any company you admire in the world, you particularly go and buy from them because they're building something that you will like. They're trying to change it, they're trying to improve on it. That's why we have brand loyalties changing regularly. Because somebody came in, fixed the gap better. So communication, human behavior, these are small soft skills which span across industries, can spill over. I don't need a degree for this, but need to get better. And the last bit, intention to network, right? Don't reach out to
Right.
people like Yash mentioned about professors. Now imagine I'm reaching out to a professor at Scalar who's genuinely coming from industry. I can do so much with it. I really like the work you've done. I'm very interested. Tell me what I can learn from you, or what this is what I can do at Scalar. This is the kind of project I can build. But randomly texting a professor saying, listen, oh, I want to join this, no, doesn't make any sense, right? I think these fundamental bits help a lot. That's how you grow in careers, personal experience, observation. And another thought, this is very generic. I think can work for any and everyone, whatever age bracket is, doesn't matter.
Right. Any thoughts? Yes. You have seen your
I
students,
think the
your
most
students come from a
important
bit
skill,
different kind of backgrounds.
I
Yeah.
think it's very counterintuitive to thought, right? The most important skill is selling. Like, so, just for your context, Abhishek, right? Like, I do a lot of angel investing. I work with venture capital funds. I invest myself. I have a good portfolio of founders, again, all tier one funds. Uh, I spend a lot of time with my portfolio founders on really helping them raise capital, right? Like, probably you won't believe, last 2 weeks I've helped like two teams raise $1.5 million each, right? And they're all 22-year-olds, techies.
Interesting.
Uh,
Right,
what
right.
I fundamentally call them cracked techies, right? They're just masters of their craft and nothing else, right? These kids. And what I really like understand is that while they're great at their craft, when it comes to like selling vision, right? Because
Right.
essentially you are selling when you're raising funds, or like when you're even pitching for a job or a higher education application, right? Be it a
Mm,
London Business School, be it raising capital, be it a job, you are essentially selling your story, right? Firstly, before even your product, your tech, your everything, it is about why you.
Right.
First, there is when there is conviction on why you are the right person, or like, and there are a lot of soft things, right? It's about soft selling, it's about storytelling, it's about being likable as a person. Likability is a skill, by the way. It can
of
be
course.
learned
Of
over a
course,
period
of
of
course.
time. So there are a lot of these things which you learn over time, and you only learn this when you put yourself in a socially uncomfortable situation initially, and slowly you start getting comfortable with social interactions, right? And in the I'm afraid that in the world where we spend like 8-10 hours of average screen time, uh, we miss those social interactions in a physical environment, affects our body language poorly, affects our
Hmm.
ability to interact with humans.
Yeah.
The more AI interactions we start having,
Mm,
right? So I think spending time with humans, uh, genuine interactions, failing at them initially, getting better slowly, trying to understand the other person, active listening over
So
speaking,
true.
maintaining a good ratio. That these things are some things which are super helpful, but come with practice. There is no theory book which you can read and learn and develop these skills.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Uh, in the next 5 years, what upcoming trends in AI a school student right now should keep an eye on? Just looking at the next 3 to 5 years.
Very interesting. And that was a conversation I was having with a very interesting fund yesterday, a tier one fund, the $700 million. What should students look at? Because they were heavily into student investing. So the couple of insights which came in, right? Today, essentially, I think the kind of fields which are evolving right now, like Abhishek mentioned, like healthcare, evergreen, right? Like, but what within healthcare? Today, India is a very nascent country where we see that only 1% or 2% population actually care about being healthy, and even like a fraction of it spend on being healthy. But that is changing. Better disposable income, better awareness, AI accessibility, internet accessibility is changing that drastically. So definitely learning about health sciences, nutrition, fitness as a child, as a kid, right? You guys are kids right now. So as a kid, learning about it and understanding the underlying use cases where AI can amplify the scale of what you do. Like that's number one. Second is creator economy. We see that all you young kids have potential to become the next big things. Gone are the days of your Bollywood superstars. Now is the age of Instagram and YouTube superstars. So how do you really make that happen? And AI has made it very easy to become a creator, right? Like you can generate a script in 30 seconds, use Mistral
Right.
or any cloud, get your background ready, use video.ai in video to create a reel in 30 seconds, and you are a content creator, right? It's just a 30-minute process now, which earlier required a lot of professional intervention. Anybody can become a content creator. Even better, you can have an AI Ghibli become a creator for you, right? Like you don't even have to be there in the video now. So a lot of things are evolved, and we see that content economy space is going to become a very large thing. So even if you are just starting out, I would say LinkedIn is the first place you should be. I wouldn't highly recommend Instagram, but LinkedIn and Twitter, right? Like Twitter again, more productively writing threads, writing your insights. I started LinkedIn when I was 17, by the way. LinkedIn wasn't even a thing back then. So it took me like 7, 8, 10 years now to grow to 55, 60,000 followers. Any CXO, any funds partner you could think of, I'm directly in connect with them. I'm able to reach out, build those connections purely because I started very early. I was able to spot that social media wave long back when I was 17. Now you could think about it. So these are largely two waves which we see, where there is a strong focus and inclination towards which students can understand. Yes, there are other themes like dev tools and all, but I don't think much relevant right now at this age. Can be after maybe 5 years when they graduate from an engineering or are in an engineering program.
Right. Very practical, very insightful. We have covered a lot today, and from how tech world is evolving and how many opportunities and so many opportunities beyond coding. I'm sure the audience have gained a lot of information from this discussion. But for students who are excited about tech and still figuring out that they are out of their place, they are certainly feeling very overwhelming. So just to wrap things up, Abhishek, if you can give one final takeaway for every student here today, what is your advice to those who are passionate about tech but not very sure about their direction right now? And I'll
You know,
then come to Yash also, this same question.
we use the word figuring out incorrectly. That's the problem. Figuring out is, and I say this often, that confusion is not a bad word. We have sold to students that confusion is a problem. I'll give you three
Correct.
C's of this, right? It's curiosity, confusion, clarity, in that order. First of all, you have to be just curious enough. And thanks to AI, like I'll tell you how I have started using AI the best way. I consume a lot of content because I'm traveling all the time. I don't watch the podcast I used to watch for 3 hours, but I'll find out 10 interesting ones, put on AI and be like, give me summary. If I like them, I'll watch one of them. That saves me time. Now, if I'm a 10th grader or 9th grader, I want to look at 10 domains, I don't have to. You're like, listen, give me the small bits of it. I can explore multiple domains quicker and just spend time learning about the better ones. Right? Curiosity needs to build, and I have more sources to do that. That's one part. Second, if you're confused, that's a good thing. But confusion with layers, like look at us, no, Anandita. With Mindler, it's learn, explore, realize. Spend time learning, exploring, and only then you'll realize. I don't think you need to rush careers, right? And also, please don't work towards a job. I say this very consciously, work towards a career. Job is part of that. And I think more than students, parents, I'm so glad they're here. They need to also understand.
Yes. Yes.
Third bit is, which is a major challenge, I feel. Yash and I also meet these students every day, and Anantha does too. Parents also need to be educated. Students can help them educate about careers that are coming up, because end of the day, all of us want careers that will happen. So I feel awareness needs to happen. We need to work towards getting that information. The last bit is, please, practical input. Yeah, Yash has mentioned Scalar is doing that. So many people are getting into it. Try. Somebody mentioned robotics. I mean, robotics is also about fiddling and figuring out what works, right? Multiple applications. Another, you and I met this student who's looking at computational biology because she's like, listen, I saw the problem. I want to merge computers and bio. Not random. So I feel if you like something, talk to people, ask questions, make mistakes, learn quicker. Or I think make the mistakes quicker so you figure out. Figuring out is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Right.
So only,
It's okay that you are confused. It's okay that you are exploring. Just
yeah,
keep exploring.
quicker.
Yash, any keywords from your side to add to this list?
I think
Awareness, explore,
I
practical
think
exposure.
I was also one of those folks, right? Like who was exploring what to do. I left a very high paying job after London Business School, came back to India and told my parents I'm going to build a company. So very tough decisions. And I think one line I would say there should be a method to the madness. Fundamentally, you figure it out. You be confused, but you should at least have a clear approach on how you're going to figure it out, right? Okay, so I'll give a simple example, right? What I did. So I come from a family of chartered accountants and investment bankers, right? My mother was like a CFO of one of the biggest companies in logistics in India. I took an approach like whether I like finance or not, confused. London Business School, best finance college after Wharton in the world. Again, I am Calcutta, best finance college in India. Like
Right.
why? So I took an exercise. Right? What I did, I took a company's annual report, like company stock market, the company's generally. I took an annual report, it's a 100, 200-page report. I decided, okay, if I am able to go through this report for 4 hours today, I'm able to spend 4 hours reading this report today, and I really like and I'm excited about this to do it tomorrow, is when I like finance as a domain. Otherwise, I will not pursue this. So it's a process of elimination, right? It's not a process of selecting what I like. It's about finding the right approach to figure out whether I like
Very
it or
well
not.
said.
So for me, the approach for finance was let me just try reading a report, financial report. If I'm not able to like it, not finding interest, then probably not the thing for me. For marketing, it can be just create your own blog, launch it on social media. See if you're able to get to 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 followers on social media. If you are not, and I'm not saying your success is if you get 10,000 followers, then you should do marketing. I'm saying if you don't enjoy the process of going there, trying every day, putting effort, right, on different marketing activities, trying to scale, that process is important, right? If you don't enjoy the process, probably not the field for you. If you enjoy the process, then even if you hit 10 followers, that still is the place you can worth trying.
Right, students, don't try to jump this process. Don't try to look at what will happen after 5 years, how much money I will make. It is the process that you are going through. It is the hard work that you are putting into that will convert into the right kind of goal. Yes,
Because you
Abhishek,
mentioned this high paying thing, I think Yash gets this question. I get this question. You do.
every
Please,
day.
right career in the right industry in the right country will always make you money. It's not rocket science. It's very, very simple, right? So you have to be very patient. And I like the fact, and this I follow the process. Process what exists to be followed. That's the logic. So sorry, Anand. I just want to add that.
No, no, absolutely. You concluded what I wanted to say. One or two quick questions from the chat box that we will take, and then we will wrap up this very interesting webinar. Somebody wants to understand a little bit about data science, data analytics with AI. Any, just a little bit insight on that?
I think a very simple, right? Like I'll just give you a simple example how to look at this. You order from Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, right? Like you do so many actions. You're clicking so many things. You're opening the app. You're closing the app. You're ordering, adding to the cart. You're removing from the cart. Then you're choosing between so many things. So what's happening? So much data is getting collected. Data about your clicks. What are you looking for? What are you searching? Selecting, adding to the cart, buying, not buying. How many days are you buying? So there are just so many data points which are getting stored somewhere in the database, right? Now, question is how as a business leader or how as a business leader or tech leader, I make decision on what to do with my product, right? So let's say Diwali is coming and I see that a lot of people are buying desserts and sweets. So as a data scientist for a company, my job is to find that trend that okay, people I have to tell the business teams that okay, people are buying more sweets. We are seeing a fluctuation in sweets order, right? That's a data scientist job to pull that data, give it a structure, and derive an insight out of the data. Fundamentally, that's a data scientist job. Then you go and the business team will essentially make a decision, right? So think of data science and data analytics as a mode of making decisions. It helps unstructured, cluttered, dirty data, cleans it up, makes it beautiful tabular format on and puts it on your plate in a visual format for you to make decisions and interpret it. That's it.
Right. And what about cybersecurity? There is a question
Limited
passed.
knowledge on cybersecurity as a spectrum, but now as you can see, right, today AI ChatGPT knows everything about you. I'm 100% sure like you would have given all your information to ChatGPT and asking random questions, right? Do you know ChatGPT operates on an open source LLM, which is your like large. So OpenAI has all your data, right? Like lot of so your data is publicly available on the internet fundamentally today. Or you have Instagram pictures, you have YouTube videos, even the snaps which you send on private to people. Somewhere or the other, there's a digital footprint created and it's available everywhere on internet, right? So with rising AI, there are concerns about privacy. There are concerns about security of your data, of my passwords, my intellectual property, my UPI, everything. And that's where cybersecurity demand is also increasing. And that's why in the third year, we have a specialization in cybersecurity blockchain. Why cybersecurity? Because cybersecurity is about data privacy, ensuring in the world of AI, you are able to create enough secured environments for organizations and individuals to work. Why blockchain? Because blockchain is one of the most beautiful ways created to I think I'm trying to simplify it, right? Like blockchain
Yes.
is a way, think of it that way, right? Like you can have untraceable transactions is one use case, but detection of fake news is one use case. A lot of things can be done, but what blockchain does is authenticate data and transactions, right? So there is authenticity. Like just imagine an AI trying to message you and asking money out of you, right? Probably cybersecurity and blockchain models and systems will enable you to firstly for them to not reach to you, and second for you to identify it's not real human.
Absolutely. I think we have covered most of the questions in the chat box. Any particular question, Abhishek, you would like to take up from here? We have covered mostly in this interaction, and I'm pretty amazed what all different topics we have already covered in this 1 hour.
I feel just I'm going to generalize the question. Somebody asked about UX design. I feel there's scope. What you need to understand. Also, one comment is I think Yash will agree. Please read about every industry. That's very important. You
Right.
can just be like, okay, where can I come in and solve a problem? That's how the tech brain also works, right? And whatever skills you have gained, I can come and solve a problem. I'm a computer science person. I'll go here, solve one problem or the other. So I think without extending this further, and of course, you have the email IDs and connection requests. You can always do that. Okay. Thank you so much,
Right.
Anandita.
So audience, we are coming to the end of this webinar. We hope this session has given you a fresh perspective and how the exciting world, how much exciting world this is of technology. Keep exploring, keep doing practical things, expand your knowledge. And in this journey of education, if you need any help, any support, anything related to applications, anything related to career exploration, feel free to reach out to us. We have put our contact details in the chat box. We'll be happy to assist you. We'll reach out to you, fill that form, and we'll get back to you. All the best, whether you are preparing for an entrance, whether you are preparing for an application. We hope you target your college and you get those colleges. Absolutely amazing content, Abhishek and Yash. Thank you so much. You were brilliant and very, very helpful. I'm sure everybody has gained so much from this interaction. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.